Okay, so for this video, what we're going to be focusing on is we're going to be focusing on sounds, and we're going to be using sounds to scare people. Um, so I was going to be using some jump scares in Matinee, but they've removed Matinee in 4.26, so we'll be using the level sequencer, but I think I'm going to wait to introduce that in the next project because it's quite a bit more complicated than Matinee. So we'll be using sounds in conjunction with you building the environment, the lighting, the particle effects, stuff like that, to make this scary scene come to life. So what we're going to do with sounds is where you actually get sounds. So one of the best places to get sounds is freesound.org. So once you log into Freesound, of course you have to make an account. You're then going to go ahead and just kind of search for what you want. I searched for glass break and I got glass break, and then I searched for like wind and I got wind as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just to show you, so like I can type wind, and then these are the winds we get for like what you might want outside the windows of your scary hospital or whatever you decide to build. You're gonna have to look up the sounds. You're gonna have to really find everything for it to work. But this is the best place to do it. It's just gonna give you a wave file, and then once you're inside of Unreal, what we're gonna do with that wave file is we're going to right click. We're gonna make a new folder called Sounds. Then we're going to double click Sounds, and I'm going to go ahead and right click and then import. And so I have these two sounds. I have wind and I have this one, which is glass break. So I'm going to go ahead and select both of those. You're going to want to have a lot more sounds, obviously. Um, but for instance, like I just wanted these two for the examples. So what we're going to do is you can do a couple different things with this. We can make these into what's called a sound cue, or we can leave them alone with the wave file here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it alone for right now. And then I'm going to make a sound cue so we can actually edit it in the environment, which we can't do if we just leave it as a sound file. So we're going to be using something called a trigger box. We're going to use this trigger box to actually trigger the sound of the glass breaking. So if you look over here under basic, we can see that we have something called a box trigger. So I'm going to click box trigger, put that right there. I want to make sure it's big enough so that I run through it. So you'd probably put this like in a doorway or down a hallway, so that way your player, no matter what, has to hit it. Okay. Then I'm going to right click it and add event on actor begin overlap. So what that's going to do is as soon as the character walks through the box, it's going to then trigger this sound. Okay. So on actor begin overlap. And then what we're going to do is I'm just going to pull off of this white arrow. And I'm going to type play sound. And we're going to see play sound at location. So we're going to play it where we are. And then what do we want that sound? So this one's called like 34426 blah 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 glass break. So I'm just going to type glass and I should get it. There it is. Okay, so that's going to do a one-time thing. So I'm going to compile and save it. I'm going to come in here and hit play. And now if I just kind of am walking around like dum dum dum, nothing spooky, then it triggers that sound right where the character is. Now we have a problem of it's triggering every time we walk through the box. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So we're going to go ahead and fix that really fast. And to fix that, I'm just going to edit this blueprint. So I'm going to go down to blueprints, open level blueprint. And we've got it here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, and I'm going to type do once. Do once. And there's no reset. So compile, save, play. Plays the sound. Go back through it, nothing. Go back through it, nothing. That's exactly what we want for a jump scare type sound, right? We just want it to play that first time we go through it and then not again. Okay, now when we're looking at what's a sound cue, what we can do with a sound cue is we can actually place that in the environment, and we can place these all over the place. And this is how we get all the ambient sounds inside of video game levels. So I'm going to go ahead and with wind selected, I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to choose create cue. And it's called wind cue, so I'm going to call it wind ambience. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop this in the world. So what that means is it's going to automatically play in the world. Okay, so if I hit play, we can hear the wind, we can hear the creaking, but the problem is no matter where I am, it's the same volume. So we want to fix that so it only is affecting really where we're standing close to it, and then not further away. Okay? So with that sound cue selected, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to just turn on override attenuation, and we have some inner radius and some fall off distances here of 3500 and 650, which are settings that I set. So if I hit play, we can hear it get louder as I get closer to it, and you can actually hear it behind you as you move away from it, and it gets less and less, and then louder as I get closer. And again, these walls are not going to be two-sided materials, so that's why you can see through one side. Okay, so that is it for sound attenuation. It's pretty easy, and you can just adjust these values to get what you want. And that's it. So you're going to be putting sounds everywhere, so all over your environment, all over your project to make it sound really, really cool. So lots of ambient sounds, maybe beeps and boops if you're by a computer, stuff like that. So anyway, have a lot of fun with this, and that's it.